I'm Johnny Millennium, and I'm back with Victor Lucas, and this is Film Fury.
Yes, we're two of the most furious people on YouTube.
We are so angry about everything.
Hardly.
Hardly.
Yeah, it's all tongue-in-cheek, this Film Fury name, but some movies make us furious, like Alien Covenant last time.
That
yes?
really made us mad, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
But we don't go in looking for movies to hate.
No.
But speaking of crazy-ass movies, we saw a brand new one today, Baywatch 2017, with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie?
And Zac Efron and Alexandria Daddario and a whole bunch of other people. You know, I tweeted this the other day. I didn't know that I would be seeing a Baywatch movie in 2017, much like I didn't know that we'd be creating Film Fury together. And for some reason, it all kind of works, which is kind of bizarre. Like this Baywatch idea, it's so silly and insane, but I love that they embraced how silly and insane it is. I mean, they even poke fun at the idea of how crazy the concept for the TV show would be in this movie. You know, so it's very self-aware, and I like that.
Did you watch a lot of the 1990s show?
I mean, only because of the girls, but not for the
They used to call it boob watch
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
The slow motion running along the
Yep.
beach, the lifeguards, you know, the good-looking girls. Yes, that's what it was all about. And for the girls, the good-looking guys, which was, I guess at the time, David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, this time we have Zac Efron, who I think is supposed to make the lady swoon, although he's so over the top. And I think that's also part of the charm, is that they know, like, they literally have a sequence in this movie of Zac Efron and The Rock working out. Like, they just filmed their workout for the day and said, well, that's a wrap, everyone. You know, they're just flexing their muscles, and like Zac Efron is like climbing pegs and they're doing the salmon ladder thing. And
when I was watching that scene, I was like, oh my God, I need to get back to the gym. Like big time, these guys are making me look terrible here. But the one thing that I gotta say, if I could change the title of this movie, I would call it Cock Watch.
Right.
Because
there's a lot of cock in this movie.
That's what a weird thing to say. Who the hell says that?
I know, yeah.
Come on, Pete, make my pecs a little bigger. And don't cover up my front bump.
You got it. Huge dick.
Big dick.
The audience is like, what are you guys talking about? There's sequences in here that should have been in Porky's, that belong in Porky's. This is like a 1980s skin flick.
Well, I think it's kind of, I mean, hear me out. I think it's kind of cool after years and years and years of objectifying women and just having boobs and having TV shows with just boob watch and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
That finally the women have a chance to, and anybody else has, there's equal sort of play that's happening in movies. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but there has been a lot more penises on display in movies and TV shows.
I gotta go see all these damn movies.
Well, in the comedies, you know, like Walk Hard, I remember there was some pretty
The movie's called Rock Hard?
No, Walk Hard.
Oh, Walk Hard, okay, just to get that clarified right there. I was like, what kind of movie is this?
I feel like a lot of these comedians, and I've seen this in Seth Rogen movies and stuff like that, a lot of these sort of shock comedies, they need to go to the dick sort of shot in a way, right?
This is insanity.
Well, I know we're talking about this, but it's because it's uncharted territory, and we've done a little bit of everything. I mean, you just referenced Porky's in this review.
I know.
We've done a little bit of everything, especially as it pertains to, you know, women running around with their boobs out. You know, and you would think that that's exactly what you would get out of Baywatch. You don't really. You get them in bathing suits, but you don't really get a lot of like booby action in this thing. But what you do see,
you just got a lot of John Bass cock in here.
You do, yeah.
There's some scenes. There was one
John
scene.
Bass cock.
Yeah, John Bass. I will not ruin it for all the cock lovers out there.
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it. But there's a scene where, like, the guy's face is like there's a cock right in this scene, like, and the guy's like right there, and the Rock's going, get closer, and I'm like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, what is it? This is Baywatch? This is not the Baywatch I watched in the 90s.
Not at all, and you know, that shit made us laugh out loud.
It did, it was funny.
And there are definitely some moments of just like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm watching. And they're so into it and so committed, and that is, you know, as we all know, that's the secret to comedy working, is you have to go the whole measure.
The whole 9 yards.
You know, and I loved The Rock and Zac Efron's interplay, too.
I did, it was good.
They were really funny together. He calls them NSYNC and New Kids on the Block and every other boy band name.
Every name in the book,
which was great. And Zac Efron sort of he eats a lot of shit in this movie, and he just sort of grins and he just sort of takes it. And I thought that was pretty good, you know?
He was good at acting as that foolish or stupid guy who's trying to be cool.
Mr. Joe Cool,
yeah,
superficial
Mr.
man.
Olympic guy.
Yeah.
And how he can't measure up. But then, you know, the beginning of the movie is really a lot of fun, making fun of Baywatch and making fun of itself.
Yeah.
But at the end, it becomes so cliche and so stupid. Well, and it's not having as much fun as it was in the first, like, 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
And we saw this in movies like Ted as well, where they introduced this gun-toting, violent subplot, you know, where there's some kind of evil Machiavellian, you know, plan that our heroes have to, you know, break down and destroy and take out all the bad guys.
Yeah.
And it really sucks all the fun and levity and comedy out of the movie, doesn't it?
It does.
Turns into a really cheap-ass, worse than the TV show kind of crime thing. And I guess in that sort of self-aware bubble that the movie exists in, it kind of works in that
it has to go that direction.
But yeah, so many Hollywood comedy movies end up doing this, and it completely deflates the whole reason that we are enjoying our time with the movie.
And you're right. The reason why we enjoyed our time, it's making fun of itself all the time.
And the characters are pretty solid. The actors, you know, I like the interplay between Alexandria Daddario and Zac Efron. You know, they have some real chemistry and some charm. I thought they had some really good scenes together. The woman that plays C.J. Kelly Warback, I thought that she was pretty fun with
John Bass.
Yeah, I thought they had some pretty, you know, charming scenes and stuff
together. I felt
together.
so sorry for John Bass. Like, I'm not sounding funny. I'm not an actor, and I've never wanted to be one.
Yeah.
But if somebody came to me with a script and said, you know, all the things I'd be doing with my dick in it and how embarrassing it would be, I'd be like, no way, man.
Well, then you get the dollar bills.
But is the dollar bill worth it to look like a complete ass?
Money on him.
I know.
Probably not, actually.
Not that much money.
Well, you know what? He has a memorable performance, and he's up against these megastars, especially The Rock. Anybody that can share the screen with The Rock and get noticed and get attention, hats off to them, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, The Rock is so damn good in whatever he does.
He's so good, yeah.
It's kind of annoying how talented this guy is.
No, and quite honestly, he's almost in every second movie that's out in Hollywood now. He's in everything.
I know, and he's going to run for president. He's going to be President Baywatch in a few years. It's nuts, and I suspect because The Rock is in this movie, it's going to be a huge hit, and we're probably going to get a film series based on Baywatch.
And I'll go and see it because it will be funny and stupid, but it's not a great movie.
Well, as long as they don't do more of this crime bullshit, you know, which I know was a part of the show. I get that, but it doesn't make the film better, right?
No.
It makes it worse. It makes it not funny, not cool, even if they're constantly referencing themselves as these peacekeepers and they're always butting heads with the local police authority. There's a couple of, you know, funny bits in there. It gets so stupid and silly that they become action stars in this.
I know.
You know?
I know. It doesn't make any sense at the end. And the cameos, we won't say who they are. You may have a guess who they are. We're not going to ruin that.
Yeah.
We're kind of lukewarm. It wasn't really that powerful. I was like expecting hilarious moments. I think it was a wasted concept that could have been a lot better if they had thought about it a little bit more.
You know, there was the Starsky and Hutch movie, which was meh, and then there was the 21 Jump Street movie. I actually liked the first one, the second one. How do you think this one stacks up between those? And I guess there's several of these things in the pipeline.
I don't know, because there's the cock humor. It puts it in a whole other dimension. I mean, I was watching this movie, and I'm like, am I on drugs watching this? Like, what is going on? The Rock, you know, the cock.
Yeah, you do certainly feel like that little kid that just came back from the dentist a few times, right? Is this real life?
Is this real life?
Is this really happening?
But I did like how it was laughing of itself. That's what I did like the most.
Me too.
So, what are you gonna score this movie?
I'm gonna give it a 6.5, and it's only I liked it, but it's only because they deflated it. They sort of popped the fun balloon with all that other BS. What are you gonna give it?
I can't give it a high score. It's silly, it's stupid, it's kind of funny at times. It's kind of weird though. Terrible ending. I give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay, 5 out of 6.5. There you go.